Happy Monday. The following story is the incredible story of a blind yellow Labrador Retriever named Norman, who became a hero to a young girl named Lisa Nibley. This story illustrates how pets or animals have a more developed sixth sense than we do. I hope you enjoy the story. In 1993, Annette McDonald of Seaside, Oregon, rescued Norman from an animal shelter when he was just a year old. Abandoned by his original owners, he had been held 2 days longer than usual and was scheduled to be put to sleep that very next morning. But Annette sensed there was something special about this dog. Norman immediately caught her eye as he started to bark and wiggle his tail at Annette, like he knew that he should be going home with her. Not long after, Annette brought Norm home that she realized there was something terribly wrong with him. Unfortunately, Norman was losing his eyesight. The veterinarian diagnosed his problem as retinal atrophy, and there was no cure. Within months, Norman lost his sight completely. But Norman took his blindness in stride. He was as happy as before and seemed to be doing the best he could with what had happened to him. I think we can all take a lesson from Norman here. The blindness limited Norman's ability, but on the open beach near Annette's home, he could run and play as free as he had his entire life, even before losing his sight. Norman really loved the beach and getting himself wet in the ocean. In July of 1996, 15-year-old Lisa Nibley and her young brother Joey arrived on vacation. They had visited this beach every summer for the past 3 years. Both were excellent swimmers, and their parents trusted that they could trust themselves in the water. But on that particular day, the tide was strong, and as the cold ocean water rushed upstream, Lisa and Joey found themselves pulled deeper and deeper into the water. The current was forming and it was strong. Lisa got pulled away from her brother, and the water dropped off deep. She could not spot her brother, nor could Lisa reach the bottom. Soon, the screams of terror, but nobody could possibly hear them. The beach was empty while the current continued to pull Lisa under. She stood against the current to get back, but she was getting tired from trying to swim against it. Joey somehow made it to safety on the opposite shore and watched helplessly as the powerful current carried Lisa upstream. Feeling terrified that she would drown, Lisa began to pray, "Please, God, don't let this happen to me." Meanwhile, Annette McDonald was bringing Norman to the beach for his usual run. But what makes this all an incredible coincidence is that it was unusual for Annette to be going to the beach with Norman at that time of day. It was a Monday morning, and Annette didn't want to go to work, and her husband Steve told her to stay home. Annette was about to sit down to read a book when Norman barked by the door, which was his way of letting them know that he needed to go out. So Annette got him ready to go for a walk, when suddenly Norman's head became alert and began running down the beach like Annette has never seen him run before. This blind dog raced over 150 yards down the beach, and Annette couldn't stop him. She called him back, but Norman was on some kind of mission. He had heard something that no human ear could detect. Norman rushed into the ocean, being guided by Lisa's voice as she screamed for her life. Norman fearlessly leaped and paddled straight towards the voice of the drowning girl. When Lisa saw Norman head towards her, she knew she was going to be okay. But when Lisa stopped screaming, Norman lost his bearings and didn't know which way to swim. By now, Lisa's strength was gone and began to be swept away. She was hyperventilating and breathing with difficulty. From the shore, Annette, who finally caught on to Norman, yelled out to Lisa, telling her to call him by his name, Norman. and that he will help her, but he needed to hear her voice to orient himself since he was blind. Lisa began to scream Norman's name, and he reacted immediately towards the voice. Norman didn't stop until he reached the voice. Lisa grabbed onto him, and he towed her back towards the sound of Annette's voice on the beach, on the shore, calling his name to safety. It was a beautiful team effort. When Lisa came out of the water, it was a miracle. Annette hugged her to make sure she knew she was safe. Lisa told Annette, "You must be my guardian angel." But Annette said, "No, Norman is." News of Norman's heroic act of his rescue traveled quickly. People magazine put Norman and Lisa on their cover. What Norman had done was more than heroic. It was a miracle. His blindness did not prevent him from saving a drowning girl. What a beautiful story, don't you think? I mean, it's amazing that this blind dog could go and save this drowning girl. And Norman looks so much like my Charlie. So I was immediately drawn to the story. And I just think that it beautifully illustrates how life sometimes will take something away from us. In this case, Norman's eyesight. But at the same time, life provides opportunities for us to continue to make a difference. He was deprived from seeing, but he was given incredible intuition and bravery to go make a difference in someone else's life. And given that today is Monday, the first day of the week, let that be your theme. Every day this week when you find yourself complaining about not having something, remember Norman, who in spite of not seeing, never lost his joy, and in spite of not being able to see, he still found a way to make a difference in someone else's life. I hope that you have enjoyed the story as much as I did. Remember to subscribe to my storytelling channel. If you have a story that you'd like to submit, email it to me at waleuska@fmtg.us, and I'll be happy to read it and incorporate it into one of my Monday story times. And I will see you next Monday with another beautiful story. In the meantime, stay grateful, stay safe, and don't let life circumstances steal your joy. Find a way, in spite of what is happening around you or to you, to make a difference in someone else's life. See you next week.